Sorry I cut off, so this will be part 2. So everybody showed up that day. And I looked around and I said, are you all here because of that video with the Thug Baby? Everybody said like one voice, yes! So I said, okay. All right. So I started taking it a little more seriously. I mean, I was still teaching stuff up to that point, but I was thinking these kids may not have to use it right now. Even if I did mention it to people, I really didn't stress it. But after that, I started saying, there's really something here. There's really something wrong. The only thing I can do is just impart whatever I've learned to people that want to learn it. Granted, the only thing I really expected would be occasional bullying things. But there are things that are going on nowadays, and it seems like it's worse than when I was a teenager. Some of this stuff is just straight up criminal. It's not rites of passage or kids being kids. Some of this stuff is straight up kids committing crimes. Adults encouraging children to commit crimes. And I don't want to go into detail with all my evidence of it, because it's other people's business, so I'm not going to do that. I would say I like to pull in media examples of stuff, or fictional examples of it. If you have watched Luke Cage on Netflix, I think it's 2016, I just found it. Look at the episode where you see the demise of Cottonmouth. Not necessarily the episode where he's killed, but including that one, and I think it's the episode before it. If I think to, I'm going to put footage of it next to this video. But if you look at where Cottonmouth is, where you see how he is corrupted and forced into a life of crime by basically attacking his masculinity. The people who should be entrusted to guide Cottonmouth actually say that he's not learning how to be a man because he's not learning how to be a criminal. And he doesn't have his father there because his dad was a drug addict. So he doesn't have his dad there to guide him to counteract that kind of input. And Cottonmouth ultimately becomes a man through murder, even though he had the talent to do something else. He's a very gifted the character's a very gifted piano player. I don't know if the actor that portrays him is actually playing the piano like that or not. If he is, then dude is a really good actor. So it shows that, and this is probably happened throughout history, there's a thing where you have violence being used as a marker for masculinity and manhood. Even to the point where you would corrupt the life of a boy. And it's not for the boy's own good. It's not to teach the boy how to survive and how to protect himself, how to protect others. In Luke Cage, the boy is being corrupted to serve the ends of the adults who are corrupt around him. And it ultimately causes him his death, because he also ends up being killed by someone who helped raise him, because he was really taught not to value his own life. That's really what it comes down to. Even though he was taught to take other lives and be tough and to run the streets, like right before he gets killed, I was like, he's going to get killed. She's going to kill him, because he doesn't have this thing in his mind where he should protect his own life so much that he should see that his killer is being a little too violent. She's escalating things. She's upset. She's going to kill him. And yeah, I know she's his relative or whatever, but when somebody's acting like that, the hair should stand up on the back of your neck for you to say, I love her. Or even if it's a him, because gender really doesn't matter, per se. I love him, her, but I'm just going to stand back a little bit in case they decide to knock me upside the head. But I'm thinking, if you have never been taught that your own life is worth that kind of defending, then you're not going to think to do it. But Here again with the martial arts theme to this channel. I think if Cottonmouth had been trained, at least trained in what I've picked up over the years, he would have stood a much better chance of surviving because he was too gun dependent. So when the object came at his head, he would have instinctively slipped it. Just slipping the first attack, even if he was hurt or a little dazed or woozy, just slipping the first attack might have been enough for him to get back on his feet and disarm his murderer and just push her out the room, whatever, just disarm her and rustle her down and tell her to calm down. So somebody like Cottonmouth would have definitely benefited from martial arts lessons from me or someone like me, if he were a real person. That is the type of thing I think that we need to get a lot of our boys, especially, getting them trained by people who have like a hodgepodge background in martial arts will help them subconsciously to value their own life enough so that, you know, even if the attack comes from somebody that's just really, they really just made a big, huge mistake in the heat of passion, because that's what that murder was. That wasn't really planned. That was really more manslaughter than murder to me. So it was a heat of passion thing, and she just came at him. But you will be prepared to handle stuff like that. That's why I say that's one of the hardest things for you to do as a civilian. Because as a civilian, you could be going about your business and then bam, something just escalates. It's not like being in a war zone or being a soldier or being a police officer where you expect stuff to happen because it's part of your job. Even if you're not at red all the time, you're probably at least in yellow or orange. Cottonmouth went completely green. I would say he went just completely off color altogether in terms of alert for himself, because he trusted his attacker that much. Just like, you know, I've trusted people that have attacked me. I've trusted them a little too much. But when it's in your body from reflex, where if somebody does something, you automatically move before you're thinking consciously, that helps you stay alive. That reduces damage. But see, this is one thing I am afraid of, and that I know, I should say I suspect, because I haven't had 100% confirmation. So I suspect / my opinion. The thing that will keep Cottonmouth or a kid like that away from me is that the corrupt person may look at me and see what I'm teaching and think, I don't want him training with that guy because he may turn around and use what that guy is teaching on me. So I'm just going to let him do it a little bit, and then I'm going to stop him, and then they're going to encourage him to just use the gun. Well, you don't need all that karate stuff. You can just shoot him. You could just shoot him. You could just shoot him. Even though guns are distant weapons, if somebody's up close with a gun, if somebody's close to you, you have to get your gun out in time for you to be effective. And that's why the weapon for Taekwondo is the gun. Taekwondo was invented in case you drop your gun. But straight up Taekwondo hard style is really not enough these days. You need the Taekwondo hardness, and you need some softness and suppleness, and you need some good judo grappling skills too. Not just for throws, but to be able to tussle with someone and hold them down, if need be. Because Cottonmouth wouldn't have been able to ippon throw his murderer and get away with it. What he could have done is slip the attack, then came, put her on the ground and held her down till she calmed down, and that would have been socially acceptable. Yeah, she was trying to kill him, but in the end, dare I say, everybody would save face. So he basically died by being too hard, especially even in the physical expression, but that's what that environment breeds. It's too much hardness. And I have to admit, I didn't really take it that seriously once I escaped from it. But now I got to realize that it's not just about me. I'm here for the community. And that type of thing could happen anywhere anyway, because it's not like manslaughter only happens to the poor. It can happen to anyone. So those are my thoughts. I guess I'm putting it public that I'm just going to continue to take this stuff more seriously and think about how I impart what I impart to my students and why. So if you listen to both parts of this video, thank you very much. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video, and especially share it with people who like to talk about the martial arts. Peace and happy holidays.